And we are live. Get in there, get in there, get in there. It's Tuesday, you know what that means. It's time for the number one sports podcast in the world. It's time for Sports4U. Live on YouTube. I'm John. That's Mark.
Yep.
Nick Freeze on assignment tonight. He won't be with us. He'll be back on Friday, but we'll not leave TV screens and your mobile devices. The laptops or desktops on X and on YouTube and on X. So make sure you hit that subscribe button for Sports4U. Like us on X, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok at Sports4U Podcast. Follow me at John Watson 0984 on X, Instagram, and TikTok. Follow Mark on Instagram at Hi I'm Mark 1 on X. And follow Nick on X, Instagram, and TikTok at 99 Grill. What up, Noodle? Yeah, lots to talk about. We're literally 24 hours away from the NFL schedule release. We got NBA playoff games that are happening, and games are being leaked out. The entire schedule will be officially released tomorrow at 5 o'clock. So we'll definitely do a full dive on the schedule on Friday. Obviously, they announced what will be the kickoff game. It's going to be some of the international games. Obviously, the games playing on Christmas, Black Friday, and we'll talk about that. Let's get into this NBA. Obviously, the biggest story right now is going on in the Eastern Conference, and it's off the court, unfortunately. You hate seeing moments like this in the playoffs, but sometimes they just happen at the wrong time, and there's nothing you can do about it. And if you don't know what we're talking about, we're also talking about what transpired last night during Game 4 of the Celtics-Knicks series when Jason Tatum, who was having a game, 42 points, was keeping them in the game, goes down with a non-contact injury. And you see where he's holding the back of his calf, back of his ankle, which is usually where the Achilles is. He had to be wheelchaired out of the arena. I think everybody pretty much knew what it was the moment it happened. And it was confirmed today by the Boston Celtics, who released a statement that Jason Tatum did undergo surgery this morning to repair a right torn Achilles tendon. Hate seeing this. I'm obviously one of the best players in the league right now. You do not want to see any series pretty much be altered by injury.
Yeah.
Especially when you're the defending champ, so you're trying to go back to back, and we can pretty much call this what it is. The series is over. The question will be, will it be over tomorrow night, or do Boston have a little fight left in them to try to push this series to at least a Game 6 back to Garden and not get, eliminated on their home court? But we'll find that out tomorrow night. But let's talk about it. This series. The Celtics have been had some pretty good first halves, take leads. Obviously, they won Game 3. They were up by 11 yesterday, and then the Knicks mounted back, and then obviously the final 2:58. That's when, unfortunately, we saw Jason Tatum suffer that devastating injury. And then from then on, the Knicks just went on a roll, and now I just don't know what to say. I'm a Lakers fan, but no one wants to see this, especially from one of the best players in the world. And it was not his fault. Nothing he did. There was nothing he
could have done.
He just went for it. Went for a loose ball, and when he planted his foot, it was over.
Man, as a basketball player who's suffered a really bad injury as well, man, this is just something that you hate to see, man. From anybody, it can be the 12th man on the roster all the way up to the best player. But like John was saying, to have your game, to have the series affected because it is the best player on the team or one of the best players on the team, it's a drastic loss, man. It sucks because he was playing well that game. Like he was really going crazy too. So um, I think the good thing about if there's any positive that come from this, I always try to find a positive in things is Jason Tatum game wasn't based on explosion. Pause. Um, so I think that him coming back from his injury, he can still keep the same game. But it sucks because when you look at the whole scope of what's happening, tomorrow might be the last game you see this Boston team as it's assembled.
I'm glad you went there because obviously I know the Celtics, that merely days after they won the championship, they went up for sale. They have new ownership, but they have a very pricey payroll. And
they got the highest payroll in all the sports, right?
Yeah. And Mark just pretty much gave you the deal about it. You got two players making $300 million in Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. You got Porzingis at a high number. You got Drew Holiday at a high number.
Yeah, I think this was Boston was hoping to win a championship this year because I think no matter what happened, they was breaking the team up after this year anyway.
Mm-hmm.
There is no way they can keep the same team like as way it's constructed. Like everybody will have to take pay cuts, and you can't. You know what I'm saying? You can't expect that from everybody.
Yeah, it's just awful. Now that's I think where we go next to what happens with this Celtics roster. Who's going to be the first to go? Obviously, you're not going to see Jason Tatum probably for at least the next year or so. If something happens, where what up, Chris?
What up, Chris?
Something happens where
you can't. I think if I'm be honest with you, if the Knicks would have just won this series and everybody would have been healthy, I think that they would have looked at trading JB. I don't think they get along. I'm be honest with you.
I mean, obviously they masqueraded because obviously for years there was always talk about should they break these two up and obviously you had Joe Mazzulla now pretty much.
I have a question about that too.
Feeding to their ego about them. People saying they can't play together. They need to be this. They need to be that. What's your question?
Do we look at Joe Mazzulla as how we look at Steve Kerr? Or how we looked at Steve Kerr when he first got that first championship?
I know where you're going.
And I like Joe Mazzulla too.
Yeah.
So this is not like I'm not trying to take a shot at him
because he won with Ime Udoka's roster, and now he doesn't have it. He doesn't have it.
Yeah, because he's severely being outcoached. Like I know y'all was saying JJ got outcoached. He's being severely outcoached by the white Doc Rivers or the black Doc Rivers or whichever one is which. I don't know which one's which.
Tom Thibodeau's white.
So he's the black Doc Rivers. Okay.
That's crazy.
Shouldn't have paid JB so much. Trunks, I can't agree with that, man. I know we look at Jason Tatum as the best player, but when it comes down to the games when you need a dog and you need that alpha to step up, JB is always him. Always him. It never failed. It's the reason why he won Finals MVP last year.
So that's where I want to go to for tomorrow. Look, I think the series is going to be over tomorrow in Boston. Look, me as much as I love seeing the Celtics suffer, But I hate it that it's happening at this consequence. Now I wouldn't say that, Trunk. Too. I think anybody. What I've learned from if you learn anything from Russell Westbrook, there's no such thing as an immovable contract.
And you can't move. No, you can move him.
You can move him because who wouldn't want Jaylen Brown on their roster? It's gonna cost you though.
Oh shit. Where's Jaylen Brown from?
He's from Atlanta.
Who we said should get out of Atlanta?
Trae Young. They're gonna have to trade at least two of those players. I'm just letting you know that right now. Between Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Porzingis, Drew Holiday, I think
they can't sign. They do off the bench, Pritchard.
Yeah, they expect Derek White's probably gonna be he's safe because obviously, yeah, he makes a good piece of change, but I think his versatility keeps him on the roster. But yeah, maybe you make a deal where you send. But if you get Trae Young, then obviously that means you gotta find a way to get rid of Drew Holiday because I don't think they can both be on this roster.
I think Drew Holiday going anyway. I have to look at the contracts and see. Go ahead, John. You talk. Let me look at the contracts.
So you think about it. Obviously, Mark said they got to pay Peyton Pritchard, which just won $6 million of the year. Al Horford's probably going to retire.
Maybe,
but you gotta. It's not going to be easy building this roster. With this ownership comes in and starts making wholesale changes, obviously, which a lot of ownerships do. Oh, they'll get picked. I mean, it depends who they're trading them to, because obviously the question is going to be Trunks. Are they trying to build a contender, or are they just trying to get from under the whatever apron they're under with the salary cap? And I think that's a huge point.
24, 25. Okay, so Al Horford is done after this year. Drew Holiday is until the 27, 28 year, but that might be a player option. Yeah. So he's up until Drew Holiday is up until the 26, 27 year. 27, 28 is a player option, which wherever you go, he probably go take it. This is gonna be his last contract. That's gonna be his last contract. Peyton Pritchard, he's under contract until 27, 28. Who else they got? Porzingis is making $30 million next year. Derek White making $28 million next year. Drew Holiday making 32 next year. Tatum making 54, and Jaylen Brown making 53.
It sounds like that's a lot of money. They got the new ownership coming in. That's obviously going to want to try to save a little money, but obviously they want to make an impact. But somebody's not. Some of them guys aren't going to be there. And some guys ain't going to be there. But also to the game, the New York Knicks did their job. Obviously, look, they won 2 games in Boston, which is a lot. I don't expect teams. Obviously, we're gonna get to tonight's games because obviously one half of the Eastern Conference Finals is already set. They win. They won the 2 games in Boston. They only need to win one at home, and they did that. Now they need to go and close the deal. Obviously, with no Jason Tatum, there's no excuse for this series to go back to the Garden for 6.
If I'm the Knicks, if I'm the Black Glenn Rivers, I'm telling my team coming out the game, Boston gonna be ready to play, and they'll come out swinging. You just have to absorb the first 3 punches they throw, because they gonna come out with haymakers and play for the long game. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. So we got to see what they're gonna do, because obviously the Indiana Pacers are now waiting.
They beat Cleveland tonight?
They did win. They advanced to the Eastern Conference Finals for the 2nd straight year. The last time they did that was 2013, 2014 during the Paul George era.
Shout out to those who called Tyrese Halliburton overrated.
Yeah. Congratulations. He's in the conference finals now for the 2nd straight year now. This time he has a shot to get to the finals because don't forget they beat the Knicks last year in 7 games,
After the Knicks went up 2-0.
so they can win this series. I still think the Knicks will probably get them, but do not rule out Indiana with the coach and the Rick Carlisle. Um, they did win tonight. Donovan Mitchell, well, he was hobbled, but Darius Garland was hobbled, but he went out there and played, and it wasn't enough. It just wasn't enough. There was nothing else they could have done that could have basically got them back into the series. Donovan Mitchell was like 4 for 18, but he got to the line, so he was being aggressive. It's just he wasn't getting nothing from Darius Garland, and it's a tough call to see. It's a real tough break because obviously I don't want to put this label on him, but it might be fair.
What label?
Huh?
What label?
Being a regular season team.
They are. Lee John, they are. Let me see their contract situation. Yeah, it seemed like they are. Though. I mean, they had a great regular season. They was balling. They was going crazy. Well, Evan Mobley. Ooh, yeah, they contract is going crazy next year. Evan Mobley made $11 million this year. Next year, guess how much he make?
How much?
He is going to be him and Donovan Mitchell making the exact same amount next year.
Oh boy,
$46 million. Darius Garland making $39 million. DeAndre Hunter making $23 million. Jared Allen is making 20. Max Strus 15. Who I like on their team is Ty Jerome. He will be a free agent. They're going to have to pay him. He bought this year, man. Yeah, Will, what up with it?
Yeah, he balled this year. He was up for 6 man.
Mm-hmm.
He was up for 6 man of the year.
They're going to pay him.
So Kenny Atkinson, coach of the year. But I hate to say it, they were a regular season team. You went over 60 plus games, and you can't get out of the second round.
But it's not even just not getting out of the second round, dog. Like y'all won one game. You know what I'm saying? Like you expect somebody who won 60 games and be more of a fight in the. You know what I'm saying? Win a couple of games. I would think.
It's crazy. And then the question, like when Nick asked about it,
What question?
Can a team led by Donovan Mitchell led team get you to a championship?
You know, it's unfair to him because Cleveland was hurt this year in the playoffs. Darius Garland got hurt. Evan Mobley didn't play all the games in the series. I would like to see I still think Indiana match up well with Cleveland. I'm not saying Cleveland would have won, but I like to see a healthy Cleveland team versus, Indiana team. And sometimes, what I'm saying, you just can't help it when injuries happen.
Mm-hmm. You really can't. And
when OKC and inevitably loses, who do they throw their picks at? Who they gonna lose to?
Who do they? I mean, I don't think they're beating Denver. I think Denver's just out of gas. Jokic he's looking old right now, but no, I don't think they're done. I don't think they're done yet, Trunks.
But the next round they play who?
They'll play Minnesota in the conference finals.
Woo. That's gonna be another good series. That's gonna be another good series. But yeah, I think like John said, I think Denver is run out of gas right now. I think eventually Oklahoma City's gonna pull the series out. It might take 7. Because right now, what it's looking like is OKC is the better team. Denver just know how to win.
Mm-hmm.
Like OKC don't know how to win all the way just yet, and that's exactly what this is looking like right now.
So it look like, right?
But I think eventually you go. The longer the series go, I think the more is more beneficial to OKC.
Yeah, this is a do or die game 5. Both teams are knotted up at 2 games apiece. And usually, the team that wins game 5 when the series is tied 2-2 apiece usually wins the series 80% of the time.
But Trunks, to answer your question, I still think OKC throw their picks at somebody, and you might see, uh, yeah, they might throw their picks at somebody.
And that's where, and speaking of picks,
You might see OKC give up like 6 first-round picks for this number 1 pick.
let's talk about the NBA draft lottery,
Oh my Jesus!
which took place last night. So before game, by the way, we'll talk about Warriors, Timberwolves, but before game 4 of the Knicks and the Celtics, we did have the NBA draft lottery that took place in Chicago, which is also hosting the combine, the draft combine. So I want to show this first before we get to the results. What I have here is the odds of what it would take. Of what were the odds for teams going into the lottery before the results were announced? The Utah Jazz, the Washington Wizards, the Charlotte Hornets each had the highest odds at 14%. Then you had the New Orleans Pelicans at 12.5, followed by the Philadelphia 76ers at 10.5. Those are all the double digits. And then it goes from Brooklyn 9 to Brooklyn 7.5 for Toronto, 6 for San Antonio, and that's their own pick, by the way. I mean, that's their own pick, by the way. Houston at 3.8. And that's a pick. I think that's a pick they got from Sacramento. Portland, then Dallas at 1.8. The Bulls at 1.7. Now, and I want to be clear. The Bulls and the Mavs have the same record, so they had to do a coin toss, and that determined who got the better odds. And Dallas won the coin toss. Then Atlanta, obviously with their own pick, and then the Spurs with their own, with the Hawks pick from the DeJounte Murray trade. Um, so that's how the lottery went. Those were the odds for the lottery. How did it end up going though? It went it went totally different than what those odds showed right there, because we saw once again another shocker in the NBA draft lottery, and that was the Dallas Mavericks winning the draft lottery, getting the first pick, the Spurs getting the second pick, the Sixers getting the third pick. All 3 of them moved up.
I had the Spurs get the first pick.
All of them moved up into the top 4. The Hornets, who had higher odds than all 3 of them, fell to 4. Then Utah fell to 5. Washington fell to 6. New Orleans fell to 7. And then Brooklyn, Toronto, Houston. That's I think that was the pick they got from the Suns. Portland, the Bulls' his own pick. The Hawks with their pick from Sacramento, and then the Spurs have another pick at 14 from the Hawks. But the Dallas Mavericks, with 1.8% chance, have the number 1 pick. What up, Greg? And now have the chance to draft Cooper Flag with the first pick out of Duke. Tim McMahon this morning from ESPN, who is based out of Dallas, says the Mavericks do not plan on trading this pick or entertaining any trades for this pick. They are going to draft Cooper Flag with the first pick in the draft.
They would draft Duke from Rutgers.
That would be funny if they did, though. All right, Mark. Your reaction, because obviously You know the theories were out there, but go ahead, give your reaction when you saw that that the Mavericks moved up and got the #1 pick.
Um, I'm not mad at it, man. I'm not one of these people. I mean, well, I am one of these people that think I wouldn't say rigged. The NBA is a business, man. I know as fans we looking at it as sports, but NBA is a business, and business is always going to be the #1 priority. So, I'm not mad at certain things like this happening. I don't think it's rigged. I don't think they say, trade Lucas so you can get Cooper Flag. That don't even make sense. I'm also glad to see that whatever Silverman is doing is working, because ever since he implemented the team with the worst record don't automatically, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
The team with the worst record haven't got the first pick in like the last 7 years, 8 years?
Yeah, they said since 2018.
Yeah. And see, that's why to me it's not a conspiracy. It's a luck of the draw, man.
I'm like this. If it was a real conspiracy, the Lakers would have never fell into the second pick 3 years in a row. They don't want to talk about that. But everyone's focusing on Luka to the Lakers. And let me say this again, because I got to a big debate about this in our group chat.
Oh shit!
Man, I'm gonna go there.
All y'all don't call it out names.
Here's the deal: the draft lottery is actually taped. Now, what we see on ESPN is the results, but they tape when the ping pong balls come out of the machine like 30 minutes before the draft. Each team has 2 representatives there. They got one in the room where they're doing the lottery. They got one on there when they're viewing the results. They take their phones. There's reporters in there. Ernst & Young, who's the accounting firm, is in there. There's no way to fix the lottery. This isn't the frozen envelope theory.
You mean like when the Knicks got
there's no way to do the frozen envelope. There's no Michael Jordan didn't get suspended for gambling. There's no tin can theory, because they give you full transparency by showing you how the process is done. Now, there's some people, I was listening to Mason Ireland today, say, show the ping pong balls. Dude, dudes are not going to sit on TV for 30 minutes watching ping pong balls. What are we talking about here? I get it. It make good TV and everything, but y'all really going to sit there and watch ping pong balls come out of a machine for a lottery? Come on now.
Why tape it and
not show it? You think they fix it in the room in front of everyone to tell them no? Because if you go to the NBA's Twitter or YouTube account,
my thing is this.
Before you go Trunks. I tweeted it out. You saw it in the communities. I tweeted it out. You can go to the NBA's Twitter or YouTube account. They show you the video. It's 13 minutes. Go ahead, Mark.
My thing is this. Let's just go everybody theory that it is rigged.
Mm-hmm.
Why are y'all just now saying it's rigged? The NBA is rigged now instead of 20, 30, 40 years ago? Fam, how the Lakers got the #1 pick on the draft, the Magic was out of pocket.
Mm-hmm.
That it's a bunch of shit that's happened that we don't speak nothing about, but now today it's rigged. Nah, fam, listen. Like I said, NBA has always been a business. They've been about business since Magic and Bird. It's another theory that, see, we getting close to this Patreon stuff. There's another theory that Magic Johnson didn't really have HIV and NBA paid him to go away. So your highness can be the face of the NBA. It's a bunch of theories out here. Y'all don't never want to speak about that.
The theories out there. Everyone wants to pick the ones that's convenient.
Mm-hmm.
People have been saying all sports are rigged for 20 years.
Dog, it's not rigged. All sports is a business. That's what it is. It's a business. The only time I say it was rigged is, and y'all talk about that Kings and Lakers series.
They bring that up. I don't bring it up.
I think Portland and Lakers was rigged. That's the one that was rigged. I think Portland was up 15 or 17 in the fourth quarter. 20 in the fourth quarter. NBA said, what ratings look better? Pacers versus Trailblazers or Pacers versus Lakers? Let's put this call in.
I even saw what Fat was saying, like, it's David Stern or Adam Silver. I was like, David Stern, huh? That was your comp?
Huh.
David Stern? And I know everyone bringing up what LeBron said on Pat McAfee. I mean, come on, dude.
Well, but the thing is I do think that some of that is true. I do, like you said, the frozen envelope to get Patrick Ewing to the Knicks. I agree with that. When LeBron came out of high school, Cleveland mysteriously had the number 1 pick.
I agree. What up, Miami?
I agree with that. When Tim Duncan came out, San Antonio, dog, I'm not saying that this is not happening. I don't think that it happened this year. I don't think Dallas is that important.
No. I mean, come on, the Mavericks and they're on the lottery.
It will say however you want to word it, business or rig. But my thing is why it's such a big deal now? Y'all wasn't saying this y'all wasn't complaining about this in the 90s.
I just think people just finding it's selective biases, and let's be clear, it's selective biases when it comes to this. Because I look at this. I mean, everyone ESPN they're feeding into the BS because what? Okay, like you said you brought up LeBron. Bring up when LeBron left. The following year they got Kyrie. Chris Paul left. They get Anthony Davis. AD leaves. They end up with Zion. Luka gets traded. Now they're gonna probably end up with Cooper Flag. And by the way, as I stated earlier, for those who missed it, Tim McMahon says it sounds like they're not entertaining trading the number 1 pick. They're gonna draft Cooper Flag. We're gonna get into that. We're gonna get to that in a minute because I think that's stupid.
So all of y'all think that Jordan really retired?
Technically, they didn't move up for D. Well, yeah, they had people don't remember that. Trunks, when the Lakers got D'Lo, the year they drafted D'Angelo Russell, we had the 4th highest odds we had to make sure our pick was top 3 or top 4 protected.
Yep.
Because it was it was still trying to pay off from the Steve Nash trade. And we moved up into the top 3, and then we ended up with the 2nd pick and that's how we ended up getting John D'Angelo. But I'm like, man,
who the hell is John D'Angelo?
I drafted D'Angelo.
Oh.
I mean, because if it was really rigged, the Lakers should have the number 1 pick all 3 of them years. They would have had Wiggins, Cat, and probably Ben Simmons. But what up, Christy? Or 4th year, because they would have probably they would have definitely had the choice to take Jason Tatum.
I do think that if we send the NBA's rigged, I think we would, like you said, we send Lakers get the number 1 pick a couple of these years. I think we probably would have seen the Bulls get a number 1 pick a couple of these years.
Mm-hmm.
Probably the Knicks.
No, but everything I get everyone. The Lakers are attached to this. LeBron's attached to this because of the Luka trade. But let's be clear.
Yeah.
I mean,
I agree with what you said earlier. If Luka got traded to Utah, what nobody give a damn about?
Nobody cares.
Nobody give a damn about that.
It's all where he ended up. And it's not rigged, Christy. Was it rigged when y'all got Derrick Rose in 2008?
Oh yeah, that's true. I forgot about that year.
Huh? You want to go there? Well, y'all got the number 1 pick, and a lot of people thought it should have been Miami.
It was luck.
No, it wasn't no dang luck.
So,
come on, man. What are we talking about? We can play this argument in many different ways.
It was luck that the Bulls.
The luck that the Bulls got the number 1 player in the country who just happened to be from the south side of Chicago. Went to Simeon. R.P. Ben Wilson.
Yeah, rest in peace, Benji. You hurt.
Really? Come on, man. Look, like we said with Brian, obviously they had the owner, Gordon Gunn, who's blind. Literally blind.
Oh, not Stevie Wonder blind.
By the way, today's his birthday?
You think he seen? You think he blew out the cake?
He definitely blew out the cake.
How'd he see it?
Yo, dude. What's wrong with Mark, man? What's wrong with Mark?
Sometimes you just gotta ask these questions, man.
He definitely reached out. He definitely someone guided him to the fire.
Who the hell is Dennis?
Oh, it's Dennis Rodman's birthday today too.
Oh,
you know it's bad luck not drafting Fultz. No, it's bad luck drafting Fultz number 1. Oh wow, Truck. That should have been the Celtics. But they got
it doesn't really matter. Number one picks never win championships.
With the
team was selected.
Well, Tim Duncan said different though. Noodle
Magic.
Akeem. If you mean as a rookie, I'm with you. But there, no, because Magic did it. If you only had one instance with it, and that was probably Magic. I think maybe Wes Unseld. I mean, probably Magic and Wes Unseld, probably the only two ones I can really think of. I don't remember what did Bill Russell win as a rookie, but those are the two that come to my memory. But let's stick with the Mavericks. So, like I said, Tim McMahon said they're going to keep Cooper Flag and not entertain the pick. Excuse me? The last two episodes, we've been talking about the future of Giannis, Kevin Durant. I'm starting to hear stuff about Devin Booker. You starting to hear about maybe Tyrese Maxey could be on the move. Heck no. Yo, Tig, that's hate. No, the heck I don't. And I know what he's doing there. You ain't slick. I can read between the lines. Say, no, heck no. Come on, man. Come on. I know what Tig's doing there. No. I'm not letting no danger for his Critney. Come on now. Just as I wear blue does not mean I actually live the blue carpet treatment.
You know, if I didn't know John for these past 20 years, if I just met him a couple years ago, I would have thought this nigga just got out of jail when he shouldn't have. Anyway.
Wait, we all talk about it.
Never mind.
We don't talk about it. I wish Nick was here, but we will talk about it. We'll get Nick talk about it also on Friday. But if you haven't seen Shooting Guards, spoiler alert, we will discuss it. You might want to walk out of the room, but go watch it. It's a good doc on Netflix, though. But back to this situation with the Mavs.
Wait, you said good dick on Netflix?
I said good watch on Netflix. You good?
Nigga, all right.
You right?
Right. I was about to say, fam, it's not for me to go
No,
on.
I do not look like no Javaris Critton, man.
That is crazy.
I'm not like Javaris Crippen. You know what I'm saying? I'm not like him. Anyway, I'm not buying this theory that the Mavs are just going to draft Cooper Flag and not entertain trades.
I don't think they draft him.
Exactly. I think. Well, I'll put it like this: if they do draft him, I don't think he doesn't step 1 foot in Dallas. He's gone that night.
I don't think when we start the season next year, Cooper Flag won't be in Dallas.
It won't. I don't think he's gonna be there for Summer League, to be honest.
I have a feeling where he's gonna be at.
Well, let's talk about it.
I have a feeling. Who got the second pick?
The team we just talked about, the San Antonio. Oh, God.
What's crazy is Kyrie not gonna play. Probably it's a good chance Kyrie not gonna play next year, right?
He's definitely out at least a good 9 months.
Probably till February.
Good 9 months. Yeah.
San Antonio got 2 point guards, right?
Yeah, they got De'Aaron Fox. They got Chris Paul. Chris Paul's free.
No.
Oh, you talking about De'Aaron?
Stephon Castle.
Right. Yeah, De'Aaron Fox, Stephon Castle.
So you can put Stephon Castle, who is, we know he's established and he's a baller. You can put him with that second pick and some future picks.
And you think they move up to get Cooper Flag?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, boy.
Mm-hmm.
Giannis, he's saying Mark's saying Cooper Flag to the Spurs. I don't buy this crap that they're not that the Mavericks aren't going to entertain. Come on, first of all, trading Luka was already one dumb decision Nico made. As a GM, you do your due diligence. Now you don't want it. Now you don't want to entertain trades.
Yeah. Even if you end up keeping a trade, you're not supposed to say I'm close off the trade, because you might get somebody like OKC who might give you. They got 75 picks in the next 3 years. Who might give you 16 of them?
Pretty much.
Then what?
Here's why I'm not buying. Not saying Tim McMahon's not right. I think he does. There's something to what he's saying, but I'm hearing it. But he's saying but it's coming from the owner, and we all saw what we all learn from the owner. We all learn from the owner.
They in the casino business.
They like to gamble, and you don't gamble when you got the number 1 pick. But I don't think Cooper Flag will be in Dallas Mavericks. That's my personal opinion. I'd be shocked. They need to call Milwaukee to try to trade Giannis.
Yeah, I agree. I'm with John. John's reading something right now, so I agree. I'm not shutting down. I'm not shutting down just trades no matter what.
I can see Castle in the second pick or some other stuff. Yeah, that's exactly what Mark just said. That's exactly what Mark just said.
Yeah.
Greg said the Spurs are the best fit for Giannis in his opinion.
Woo. Greg, I'm not mad at Giannis going to the Spurs, but I also like that nucleus of and it's a couple of things I've been listening to.
Miami, that's hate. The Nets. They got the picks, but man, Giannis ain't. Although the theory is that Giannis don't want to lead the Eastern Conference. But
I don't think Milwaukee trades him to the East.
Me either.
Yeah, I don't think he trades him to the East.
He's going west. I don't know where he's going west, but he's going west.
Yeah, I think they want to get him far away from the East as possible.
Because if he has to see these dudes 4 times a year, it is not going to be pretty.
Mm-hmm. He about to go get his brother signed again.
Yo, you all right?
What? He might as well come to the Lakers.
Yo. Hey man. Don't tell me my emotions right there.
You can get down. You get the
Thanasis.
You get the Nassus and Bronny.
Well, don't send the Nassus to the. They can send the Nassus to the G League. Bronny be on the bench.
Nah, the Nassus. No.
What? Be an assistant coach?
Nope.
I mean, JJ need another assistant coach.
Nope.
Need a trainer?
Nope.
A water boy?
Nope.
Security?
Nope. Y'all gotta stop playing with the Nassus, man.
Thanasis is trash. Thanasis is trash, man. Although he was, in fairness, he was a first round pick. But I knew that was only because the Knicks were trying to cater to Giannis.
Yeah, no, he's trash versus NBA players.
Yeah. Thanasis. Thanasis out of the comfort.
All right. But yeah, no, I definitely can see a trade between the two Texas teams.
All right, but let's stick with Giannis. So the report came out from Shams yesterday. Giannis is finally possibly going to entertain the possibility of him looking to join another team. Okay, here's a tweet. Here's this entire tweet from Shams yesterday. 2-time NBA MVP Giannis Antetokounmpo has not made any firm decisions, but for the first time in his career, he is open-minded about whether his best fit is remaining in Milwaukee or playing elsewhere. Sources told ESPN. The story is up on ESPN.com right now. Look, we just said it. I don't think Giannis is staying in the East. Why does Giannis think he's a free agent? He's not. He has 2 more years on his contract, so it's not. So whoever gets him, he's got 2 years, and they're gonna have to probably sign him to a new deal in a year. So,
but it's not the fact that he think a free agent, but Giannis has that power where he can tell the team where he want to go trade to.
Pretty much, the ownership he's at. He has a good relationship with the owners, obviously with the front office. And I think when it's all said and done, he will definitely have a say in where he goes. Noodle said trade his ass from Luka in a heartbeat.
Wait,
why would you
wait? Trade who asked?
Pause. I think Noodle say trade.
Trade Giannis ass.
Yo, that's wild.
That's crazy, Noodle. Anyway, go ahead. No, he sent trade
Giannis for Luka. Look, I get what you're saying, but man, to me, I think he's trying to get people. They're trying to get someone to partner with Luka, and boy, I would think the Lakers have to really be out on Luka if they're gonna trade him 6 months later for Giannis. I mean, if the trade package is not up to par, it ain't happening no matter where he wants to go. Well, I think that's true. This might not happen during the summer. This could happen they got until September when training camp, but I don't think Giannis is stepping a foot in Milwaukee's training camp when they reconvene during the fall. I think this will be done sometime between now and August. This will definitely more so between the draft and August. But Giannis will not be. I mean, Giannis Antetokounmpo has played his last game as a Milwaukee Buck. Obviously, we talked about the Spurs. You throw a package in there with Stephon Castle and their pick and the top two picks and their two first round picks and some other picks, and maybe throw in like a Devin Vassell or something, depending on because you still gotta make the money work. Um, or the Harrison Barnes' contract, I believe. Um, that's one team. You be hearing a lot about Houston. Maybe you throw in the Jalen Green and obviously that maybe you package Fred Van Vliet's contract and send him to Milwaukee. Throw that some first rounders in there. That's one team, but I don't like me and Mark said. I think he's heading west. I think it just be malpractice if Milwaukee keeps Giannis in the East. And I'm trying to figure out if they were to keep him in the East, where would he go?
Miami. I don't know if Miami have enough, but
they definitely don't have the picks.
I can see I don't think they have the players either. So probably not Miami then. They said Brooklyn. Brooklyn got the picks.
But that's pretty much what he's pretty much it. There's nothing else in Brooklyn.
Nah, they got the dude who think he Kobe. What's his name? Cam.
Look, man, you don't love my dudes from North
Carolina.
No,
not Cam Johnson.
Cam
Thomas, yeah.
Yeah, like I said, there's nothing else. There's nothing else in Brooklyn for Giannis.
But it might just it might just be a bigger market. You know what I'm saying? So,
I mean, the Knicks could.
I don't see the Knicks doing it.
I don't think so either. You trade them for Cat in a heartbeat, but that ain't gonna happen.
I don't even think the Knicks would want to trade Cat. Cat been playing well for him.
I agree. There's really not many markets. You think I don't know Atlanta? No. Obviously, they'd be dummies to send them to Boston.
Atlanta not doing. Did you hear that story that Atlanta had Giannis hit? And they fired one of the coach. I don't know if they fired the whole coaching staff or they fired one of the assistant coaches, and he ended up going to Milwaukee, and that's how Milwaukee drafted him.
So they was gonna draft Giannis.
Mm-hmm. They had him hit. They had him hit like put up.
Well, yeah, he was in the bleachers during the draft.
They had him like he was hit, and the only reason why I won't say the only reason, but Milwaukee found out because they fired that. I don't know if they fired that whole coaching staff or they fired that specific assistant coach, and he went to Milwaukee. And that's how Milwaukee drafted Giannis.
Teams gotta be stupid. Greg said they grabbing Giannis is the best fit for them. That organization breeds superstars. Well, I'm trying to figure out if you're Miami. I mean, either you're giving up either Bam or Tyler Hero.
I don't think anybody wants to go to Miami at this present moment.
Right now, Pat Riley is pretty much might be running that team into the ground.
Ain't no pretty much. I think he is.
So I think we gotta keep an eye on them. I don't know where Giannis goes from there. Let's also talk about the other series from last night. The Minnesota Timberwolves are
another series that is affected by injury.
Obviously, no Steph Curry, but boy, did Anthony Edwards. He sees blood in the water. He goes and he's a shark. But I need to know this. Where the heck? Where was Jimmy Butler last night? 5 for 9. 5 for 9. 9 shots.
That's my thing with Jimmy Butler. Is he can sometimes show up as a superstar, and then sometimes he show up as a role player when you need him to be a superstar.
That just makes zero sense.
But my number one thing, I think I said on the show within the last week or so, is how is it that they don't have a backup point guard? I'm so confused.
I don't understand.
If the Wolves don't win it all,
what's next? I don't know. I mean, there's really much they can do, but there's really not much they can do. Their roster is pretty much what it is. Obviously, I think they're out there trying to sign Naz Reid to a new deal. That's pretty much it. They're not gonna.
Only thing they might have to do is replace Mike Conley. I mean, I'm not saying like right now. I don't know how many more years he's gonna play with Mike Conley. Been in the league 18 years.
That's insane. I remember when he came in the league.
Yeah, him and Greg Oden. Right?
Yeah.
Him and Greg Oden. Yeah.
07 draft.
He been in the league 18 years now. So, at some point, and I know he's still playing really well, but at some point you're gonna have to replace that. And I think a point guard, a player, somebody like Scottie Pippen Jr. would be great. I don't think Memphis gonna let him go, but somebody like Scottie Pippen Jr. would be great for them. He won't be that expensive. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I think that'd be dope for him.
Yeah, so I think keep an eye on where obviously we're gonna be on Giannis watch, we're gonna be on KD watch. But obviously Minnesota no Steph, and they're probably not, and Steph already pretty much confirmed he's not gonna play tomorrow night. He plays tomorrow night.
And I love what Draymond said.
What did he say?
He said, "Man, we gotta learn how to win without Steph."
Wow, glad somebody recognized
it. He said, "Man, at the end of the day, man, like we still competitors, and I love that attitude when it comes to a player like that. Like, yeah, we lost our best player, but guess what? We all professionals here. At some point, we can all step up."
I agree.
But it just kills me. They don't have a backup point guard.
I don't understand. I don't understand that. Mike Dunleavy, what kind of roster were you constructing?
I don't understand that. I mean, I get it because in the system, Draymond can play point guard, and you don't want to expect Steph to get hurt.
Right. So if he goes to Boston, would be the best fit in the East. Don't have the contenders. Is the easiest conference. He wants to win championships. I mean, that's why he's not gonna go to Boston. Giannis ain't going to Boston. There's no way. Heck, I mean, they'll have to. I mean, there's no way Milwaukee's that stupid.
If they give him Jaylen Brown, Drew Holiday came from there.
Yeah, I mean, they're not gonna have Dame next year. So
if they give him Jaylen Brown, wait a minute. If they give him Jaylen Brown, Porzingis, and Derek White.
See, I think Derek White stays. It's gotta be Drew Holiday.
Drew Holiday just came from there.
But it's been a full year removed, so he can go back.
Cool, but if they say, "Yo, I'm offering you Derek to get Giannis," instead of I think Derek White probably have more trade value because of the age,
mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying, and the contract. So if they say, "Yo, we give you Derek White, Jaylen Brown, and Porzingis," make the numbers match. We probably not gonna see Jason Tatum next year. Rest up, kid. But when he come back, you have Giannis and Jason Tatum. That'd be crazy. I just can't see him doing that to Boston. I can't see him making that trade.
Okay, so I want to talk about NFL story, and then we're going to talk about this crazy ass documentary. But let's talk this one NFL story. Look, tomorrow they're going to announce the full schedule. We do have a few games that I can't tell you about. I mean, I might want to show them on the screen, but we'll definitely we'll recap them on Friday. But we do now know the opener, the kick for the first game of the season is going to be the Eagles against the Cowboys, September 4th, that Thursday night. We'll get to the story in a second with Derek Carr. We found out Black Friday is going to be the Bears versus the Eagles. Christmas night, my Broncos will take on the Kansas City Chiefs.
It means that we not playing on Christmas.
And they did announce a bunch of NFL. They did announce all the international games. The Chargers will be hosting the international game. They haven't announced their opponent, but it's going to be announced tomorrow. But we already, according to all the reports, that it's going to be the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Broncos in Sao Paulo, Brazil. Week 4, we got the Vikings. The Vikings are doing something interesting. They're going to be the first team to play back-to-back international games in 2 different countries. Week 4, they go to Dublin against the Steelers,
Ireland,
and then week 5, they're going to London to face the Browns.
Aaron Rodgers will do a lot of travel.
And then, well, I just caught what you just said there. You think Aaron Rodgers still going to the Vikings? We'll find out in a couple weeks. Mandatory minicamp starts in a few weeks. My Broncos are going to London against the Jets week 6. The Rams are in London against the Jaguars week 7. Week 10, the first game, we're going to Berlin, Germany for Falcons Colts. And then week 11, we're going to Spain for Commanders Dolphins. That is the NFL schedule. That's the international games on the NFL front. I know we got those are just a few of the notable games.
What up, Nessa? Nessa said Miami's going to Spain.
Yeah, Miami's going to Spain. They're going to Spain. They're going to be in Madrid, facing the Commanders.
They're playing Paul Gasol with them.
Paul, Mark, who else? Rudy Fernandez. All those guys will be there.
What's on my height? Never mind.
She might be from Spain. Like I said, we got a huge doubleheader on Fox Week 16 with the Bears and the Bears Packers, and then we got the rematch of the NFC Championship with the Commanders and the Eagles. And obviously there's a lot of games that are also being leaked out. But like I said, we'll know where everybody's playing tomorrow at 5:00. So make sure you're here Friday. We will go over the entire NFL schedule. We'll go over our squad schedule, and we'll definitely be going. If you want, we'll definitely go over all the primetime games: Monday night, Sunday night, Thursday night. That's what we'll be looking at. Obviously, the Thanksgiving Day games, obviously. So there's a lot to talk about there. But that's what the schedule looks like as of right now. That's what the schedule looks like as of right now, as far as what games have been officially announced by the Fox, NBC, and the NFL. CBS are going to announce some games tomorrow. ESPN obviously announced they got Packers and Eagles on Monday night game as well. But CBS is going to announce some games tomorrow. But the entire schedule will be released tomorrow at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. So make sure you buy your phones. Make sure you get your alerts on when your team schedule drop.
Yeah, so we can see who.
I've already seen reports on who the Broncos could be playing.
John, you gotta go to a game in Denver, dog.
I plan to. But I've seen reports. Actually, I've seen the report already who we're playing week 1. So, but I won't wait until it's official. But it sounds like we might be on the road week 1 for this week 1. But another NFL story. This broke over the weekend. Derek Carr announced his retirement.
Is that Dwight Howard?
Yeah, and he's sitting in Shaq's chair. Yo, you good?
You heard me?
Yeah, you're not here. I'm not deaf, man.
Did they hear me?
I don't think so. But Derek Carr announced his retirement from the NFL on Saturday. We all knew that he was dealing with this shoulder injury that could have jeopardized the season. He needed surgery, and he would have been done for the season. But he decided the rehab was not responding. He wasn't responding correctly to the rehab, and has decided that he's going to hang it up after 11 seasons. Of course, 10 with the Raiders, and then this past season with the New Orleans Saints.
I think that's. I mean, well, first off, let me say, congratulations to Derek Carr.
Uh-huh.
He had a good career. I think this was the long play for him because I think he still could have played, but I think he did New Orleans a favor. By him retiring, they get that money back. Only thing he keep their signing bonus. You know what I'm saying? They're not going after that. They're not doing none of that. So he keep that. But I think that later on down the road, maybe 2 or 3, 4 years, you might see Derek Carr on the Saints coaching staff or doing something with the Saints. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I can see it. Greg, break the team up if the Wolves don't make it. Keep Edwards. Nah, this team is too good to break it up.
They're too young.
And too good to break it up right now, man.
KD to Houston.
I'm not mad at that.
See, I think it's Dallas. If I'm Phoenix, I'm definitely making the call about the number 1 pick. So you offered the number 1 pick for KD, and you put Cooper Flag with Devin Booker.
Only problem with that is KD gonna have what 2 more years?
Yeah. So, but I think you make that call to Giannis first, though.
Yeah.
But that call to Milwaukee about Giannis first. Shout out to the hometown homeboy, go Fresno Bulldogs. Oh, that's right. Derek Carr, of course, went to Fresno from Fresno, went to Fresno State. Him like his brother David. But yeah, he did hang it up out there 11 seasons. Obviously, very
Me and
polarizing quote.
me and that's have been cool ever since the football season's been over with.
That's crazy. Um, but it's going to be crazy. Obviously, he had a very polarizing career with the Raiders. Obviously, it didn't work out with New Orleans. Obviously, but we wish Derek Carr the best in his retirement. Hopefully we'll see him real soon.
I think we're up to.
Yeah, halftime, right? We're going to start the second half. The Nuggets are up 2 on the Thunder starting the third quarter. Game 5. See who can go up 3-2. All right, I wish Nick was here for this segment. We'll definitely revisit it Friday because I definitely want to get his thoughts on this. Me and Mark and Nick over the weekend we had some homework to do, and we said it.
I did it before the weekend, but yeah.
Yeah, I want to thank the Indiana Pacers for helping me get this done because they went up by 40 on the Cavs. I was like, okay, I can go watch this documentary, and that was Shooting Guards. Obviously, the untold story from on Netflix. Gilbert Arenas, Javaris Creighton, about bringing guns in the locker room, the Washington Wizards locker room back in 2010.
That was 2010?
Yeah. No, 2009, because they drafted John Wall in 2010, so it was 2000. It was 2009 when it happened. Let's just revisit that time. How it starts. Obviously, the Gil's growing up, grew up in the valley, was a goofy kid, and eventually went to Grant. And then eventually, coach saw that he thought he had potential to play in the league, and he continued to develop his game. Ended up at Arizona, got drafted in 2001 in the second round by the Warriors, and obviously we had a good career with the Warriors, and then went on to be a free agent with the Wizards. As for Javaris Creighton, was one of the top high school players in the country out of Atlanta. High school teammates with Dwight Howard. Goes to Georgia, had offers everywhere, but decided to stay home and go to Georgia Tech. He thought he was going to get drafted by the Lakers in by the Hawks in 2007. They took Al Horford with the third pick, which was right pick. Then they had a second pick, and they took AC Law.
That wasn't the right pick.
And he fell to the Lakers at number 19.
That wasn't the right pick.
He came to the Lakers, and obviously, clearly, it was not a match made in heaven because him and Phil clearly did not get along. Because
this kind of might be Phil Jackson faulting.
Phil, and obviously they showed, and I totally forgot this happened. His first game of the year, his own game of rookie. He didn't just play. He didn't suit up.
Yeah.
Tell me a lot of number 1 first round picks who are healthy scratches on their NBA debut. It's one thing to be in uniform
and maybe they'll play,
but to be told you're not going to suit up.
Yeah, that's kind of embarrassing because his first game in the league, he probably telling family like, "Yo, I'm gonna get in, get some minutes, and then you get told that you can't even put on a uniform." Yeah, and I don't like how Javaris, and I'm just talking about the game. I don't like how Javaris Crittenton game was. How we look back at it, and a lot of people say he wasn't that good. Javaris Crittenton was really good.
He was.
I think if they would have switched AC Law for Javaris Crittenton, you probably would have seen both of them play. I think Javaris would have played in Atlanta, and I think AC Law, because he can shoot,
right,
would have played, in LA. But with LA, it's all about picking up this offense, and it's hard for rookies to pick up this offense.
And that's why they have one of the assistant coaches on there who was with the Hornets, who was with the Lakers, and he was not, and he was with and he was, of course, with working with Javaris on the player development side, and obviously the triangle is a very complicated offense for most players.
It's not really,
but it's not really. But some players' system, obviously, with a player like Javaris, who was,
and I just don't think Phil Jackson like
young rookies. Players. Yeah, he doesn't. Yeah, he doesn't. Yeah. Clearly, so, we know this. I mean, with the Bulls, he said rookies were the scum of the earth. So yeah, that showed it there. And then obviously he gets traded to Memphis in the Pau Gasol trade.
Oh shit, he was not.
That's right. He was in the Pau Gasol trade. He gets shipped to Memphis with Marc Gasol, and a bunch of other junk like Kwame Brown. And then obviously he ends up in Washington. Gil takes a liking to him, and they become cool. But obviously he's home. He's away from his family. He's never been out of. This is really the first time he's ever been out of Georgia, because he could have went to Duke. He could have went to North Carolina. He could have went to a lot of other schools, but he wanted to go to Georgia Tech. Be the hometown hero. Be the prodigal son. That's all good. But then once he got in the NBA, he had to leave Atlanta because the Hawks didn't draft him. Nick Young tells the story. He worked out with Javaris during the offseason, and he saw his tats. And then we saw the infamous one. He had the C with the rag. I was sitting there like, and Nick looked like, man, he's crazy. And that's what we learned. He started hanging out. He started banging Mansfield.
We did that with the Lakers before he got to
right. Nick said he used to work out with him every summer.
Yeah.
So this is before he got to Washington. So clearly he got here because this all happened while he was in LA. He didn't just start. Wasn't banging Mansfield in Memphis or in Washington.
Right.
It happened when he got here because he was out here in the club scene, and obviously he got a situation where someone tried to take his chain, and people say you need to go have some of us around you. And obviously some of his people knew somebody from Nashville probably, and that's how he got hooked up with them. And he was on the set. He wasn't just politicking. He was out there. He was on. And then he ended up, and obviously the whole situation with him and Gil happened, where obviously they're on a plane playing. It was a game, I think it was a card game between Earl Boykins and JaVale McGee. And Earl Boykins and JaVale McGee, some other players. And then obviously Earl gave JaVale some money so he can win. And JaVale pretty much took everybody's money off the table. And Javaris stuck his nose has been saying, Earl gave you his money, give it back to him. And Gil got involved. Was like, how you gonna tell somebody you owe me this? And I was like, whoosh. And Gil just like an instant instigator. So they saying he's on the airplane. He got his headphones just blazing, and he's playing Michael Jackson. Gonna be starting something. I was like, wow, this dude really just the jokes with him just don't stop. And they go. Then they get back to the locker room, and the whole gun thing happened.
It was some threats. That was some threats.
It was, yeah, you go there.
Gilbert. They got him back and forth. It was I'll beat your ass, and then it was I'll shoot you in your knee.
Mm-hmm.
Gilbert said, "I got a bad knee already. What the fuck that go do?"
Because I'll shoot you in your good knee. And then Gil got triggered.
And then Gil said, "Okay, you can shoot me. I'll bring the guns so you can shoot me. But we can see."
And the crazy part is when this all was happening, it was the day when they was doing the gun awareness training. And they say, and then Gil says he goes in there with a BB gun and shoot Nick Young in the arm. I'm like, what the? You can't make this up, man.
I'm trying to be as biased as possible in the story because I know a couple of these people in the story, and dog, they're jokesters, man. Like both of them, Nick and Gilbert.
Yeah.
Nick, they both go too far.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Gilbert being a leader of that Washington team, it shouldn't have got to that point of bringing the guns in the locker room. But I also understand Gilbert saying you don't threaten me, because if you go threaten me, then come, like we was gonna fight, we could have just fought and got over with and been men after that. You know what I'm saying? But you can't threaten me with this. And then Gilbert. A lot of people don't know Gilbert is a collector of guns.
Yeah. So he tells a story on there when he was in Arizona when his girlfriend's father was a gun collector, and he told him, if I make he's in the NBA and I get a big payday, I want to buy your gun collection.
And so they get back. Whatever is more threats. Gilbert said, "I'm gonna burn your car up with you in it." It was all kind of weird stuff that that was going on.
Mm-hmm.
Gilbert gets up early, gets to the arena early. He said he picks out 2 guns, and the 2 guns he have it's hard to get. Those aren't guns you can just go to the store and get. His, I'm give y'all forewarning. His wasn't loaded, no bullets. It's just a gun.
Right.
When he got there early, he put it on a Duke chair, on Javar's chair. Left a note. I said, pick one.
That was crazy.
Again, I know he knows it's not no bullets in there, so it's not nothing gonna happen. Like, this should have just stayed inside the locker room. Again, he shouldn't have did that at all. But his plan was it should have just stayed inside the locker room. But because of and I understand Javar's point, because when you start threatening people like that, you don't know if they serious or not. So he bringing in, the number one rule is I'd rather be caught with it than caught without it. And he from the streets too. So, he brought his little blam right there, you know what I'm saying? So his was loaded. Well, I'm not gonna say that. In the words of Gilbert, they asked him if it was loaded. He said, you have to ask him that. And then Javar said, I'm not about to bring a gun if it's not loaded. So go ahead, John. You can.
So now, obviously, word gets out because obviously somebody in the locker room is talking.
Talk to Peter Vesey.
And they talked to Peter Vesey. Yes, that Peter Vesey, NBA, NBC, longtime reporter, was breaking stories back in the day. Someone tells him that somebody got guns in the Wizards locker room. I'm assuming it was a player because it was a player. Went back and told him. He goes to Ernie Grunfeld, the GM.
At one point, I knew who the player was, but I forgot right now.
He goes to Ernie Grunfeld, the GM, and all Ernie Grunfeld was going to say is, "I hope you're right." I'm like, "What? I hope you're right." I mean, are you denying this or not? And Peter Vesey ran with it. Now, there was a bunch of stuff where they said this person threw this gun, a bunch of blah blah. No, that didn't happen. With something, you take what you want, but if you know the real story, you know what happened, what didn't happen. But obviously, there was a lot of noise out there. But they both ended up. The cops pulled up to the Wizards facility. Obviously, Gil and Javar ended up getting some legal issues. They both got suspended 50 games.
The most interesting part about this whole documentary to me, because again, I knew a lot of this already, was when Gilbert said, I'm about to break some news for y'all. They didn't suspend me for the guns. They suspended him because of how he was he was using NBA airplanes to transport the guns from Arizona to Washington, which is really illegal, like illegal.
Right.
And so, because even what he was saying is the most person who had anything to do with a gun in the NBA, most got 7 games as suspension.
Yeah.
And so when you look at the 50 games, that was overkill. If it's just for the guns,
I agree.
compared to what they what they normally have. But um, like he said, they caught him. Well, they got him suspended because of him trafficking, pretty much trafficking weapons from from state to state using NBA planes. Because using the NBA plane, you don't have to go through metal detectors. You don't do none of that. You know what I'm saying? So that's the way he was doing it. And some of these weapons are really illegal, like you're not supposed to have. But Arizona's an open carry state, so
that's right.
We can go in there and be like, hey, let me get this AR-15. They'd be like, let me see your ID. There you go. All right. And I also appreciate.
No, it was 50.
It was 50.
Go watch it, Greg. It's on Netflix.
It's 50.
Go watch it. It's on Netflix.
He was doing wild things with the guns. He wasn't. And then he said he felt bad for Javaris because Javaris got 50 because of Gilbert.
Pretty much.
Like his name was tied in with that. He's on his own. He said Javaris only got 50 games.
It's interesting. And then obviously Gil was able to go back and resume a career in Washington. He ended up being eventually, he ended up getting traded to Orlando. And obviously he ended his career in Memphis. As for Javaris, he didn't have that luck. He was on a rookie deal, and once it expires, they pretty much wiped their hands with him. He ended up with the Bobcats, and then he just everything from that incident followed him for the rest of his life, on and off the court, unfortunately. So he was trying to steal some slides.
I don't believe that.
That was crap.
I don't believe that at all.
I mean, come on, man. He's trying to steal some slides. Come on. Chill the F out. And obviously he ended up in China playing overseas. But obviously he really wanted to be back home, be back in the NBA. And then when he came back, he did what most people would do. They feel like they're Teflon, so I'm just gonna go hang out in the hood with my peoples. He didn't want to feel like he abandoned the projects. Like he was coming out there wearing his jewels, obviously nice car. He was blessed. He was and he had a certain amount of wealth he has acquired, and I have respect for him because he earned it. He went to college. He got to the league. Yeah, he was in the league for about 4 years, so he made a decent amount of money on a rookie deal. So he had it. But the one place I don't tell grown man you be where you want to be. You a grown man. Protect yourself at all times. But the last place a millionaire needs to be at is in broad daylight or in the night in the projects. And I know this because we have we've got stories. We've had plenty of athletes who hang out in projects. Stack Randolph, Iverson. I mean, I was in Memphis when Zach Randolph left for Sacramento. They didn't go to like no Grizzly practice facility or downtown Memphis and ask the fans how they were doing or on Beale Street. They went to the hood because he was in the hood. That was when he was with the Clippers. He got busted in the garden in Nickerson Gardens. Iverson, there was stories that Iverson hung out in the Nickersons. But Javaris went back to his old projects in Atlanta, and he was doing, and obviously he got robbed.
That's an important. It's not justifying it, but that's an important piece to this.
He got robbed.
Mm-hmm.
Someone snatched his chain. He got some money from him too.
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't happen once; it happened twice. So you figure, okay, I need to get out of Atlanta for a minute. He goes to try to meet his girl in Baltimore. Goes to stay with his girl in Baltimore, and it happened again. But he went back. He got back in Atlanta, and this fatal incident. He found it. He got in contact. He did his own investigation. He did a hood investigation and found out who was the dude that robbed him. And obviously he had his cousin with him. They ended up seeing the dude, and they was ready to do. And I guess he was ready. They was gonna put something behind his chest. But Javaris got this little nerve, like, I shouldn't be doing this. Something ain't right.
Yep.
I really wish he would just could have kept listening to his gut. Because he went out there, he pulled the trigger, but when they pulled off, it wasn't one body that was in the street, it was two. Julian James, the young lady in her 20s, was shot by Javaris Crittenton, and she died. First of all, condolences to that young lady's mother for even still having the strength to even tell that story. And somebody got word Javaris, that it was Javaris. They said they saw a black Tahoe. And obviously where Javaris Crittenton was at, word was a black Tahoe was seen in a certain area where a house was shot up. Because they didn't know where, and then come to find out, a few days, the same day, Javaris had just rented from Enterprise. They put two and two together. Javaris gets a murder warrant, is off for his arrest. He gets found guilty of aggravated manslaughter, possession, and gets 23 years. My one question mark I had to ask, I'm still trying to figure this out, and maybe I missed it in the documentary. If anybody saw it, you can tell me.
What's that?
Why was Julian Jones out that night when her life was unfortunately taken from her? How did she get close to the car is my question.
Because she was with the dude who robbed him. Because you got to think, one part that's really left out, John, is that he saw the dude who robbed him.
Yeah.
And so that's who he was.
I didn't want to assume that, but I thought I didn't remember. I don't remember. I can't remember they said it, but I just put two and two together. Like, why was she with the dude who they're trying to kill?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too, Sam.
Yeah, it's not my place to say why and who and why, all that.
Just sad.
It's not, I'm not here to, question the victim and what she was doing.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, she was with that dude, and this is why, no, I can't tell that story here. Yeah, no, you just sometimes have to, just be mindful about who you're around. And rest in peace to that young lady, and to her kids. You know what I'm saying? Condolences to her mom. But yeah, I think that's the reason why she was, probably has some dealing with dude, and and anybody from the hood, when a car pull up, they kind of stop. We kind of like, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Checking out, especially with a car that don't look familiar.
That's right.
So, it is, I think that's, in my mind, that's the only thing I can imagine that's what happened.
All right. So let's get to what I think was the most interesting part of this documentary. It was near the end. Javaris Crittenton gets sentenced in 2013 to 23 years in jail. Fast forward to April 23rd, 2023, which was literally 2 years ago. Javaris Crittenton is released. And when I was really trying to figure out, I remember when he got sentenced, and when I saw the trailer for the first time, I was like, how the heck did he get out? I'm thinking, was he on a work release program? I don't know. Rob Jackson said the Emperor says Giannis should not go to Dallas. We'll see what happens. I think Giannis gonna have control where he goes. They're gonna work with him, but like I said, Dallas should at least make the call about and offer it and to see what's the offer. But back to Untold. They showed his attorney or some people. They pull up to the jail, and here he is walking out. And they asked the lead detective on the investigation, how did he get out after 10 years? He still was trying to understand why. So, as I stated earlier in the documentary, Javaris Crittenton was a star at Southwest. Dylan Harper's nice.
He's really good.
He's really good.
Airborne.
He was a high school teammate with Dwight Howard at Southwest Atlanta Christian Academy. Dwight Howard has an uncle by the name of Paul Howard.
Oh,
for those who don't know who Paul Howard is, and well, again, if you haven't watched it, go watch it. We will talk about this again on Friday when Nick is back. Paul Howard was the district attorney in Fulton County, Georgia, when Javaris Crittenden was prosecuted for murder. Come to find out, Paul Howard and the DA's office and Javaris Crittenden's attorneys cut a deal that would have got him out after only serving a dime in prison, where he would just be on good behavior, do some community service, house arrest, etc., blah, blah, blah. And he followed every guideline of this deal, and that's why he got released after 10 years. Here's the problem. In situations like this, the DA always lets the family of the victim know what's going in the loop. Keep them in the loop. They did not do that with Julian James's family. It wasn't fixed. Trust and believe. It was the luck of the Irish, or the Maverick in this case. And the young lady's mom, she was still trying to figure out how did he get out after a dime. No one consulted her or the kids and let them know what was going on. But clearly, Dwight Howard's uncle, the relationship with Javaris Crittenden and Dwight Howard, and obviously with Dwight Howard's uncle being the DA at that time, played a huge part in this deal getting done. Now the NBA and the Fulton County District Attorney's Office declined to be a part of this documentary. Mark, when you saw that story, I was like in shock. When you saw that, what went through your mind knowing that pretty much, and look, sometimes it's not what you know, it's who you know, and currently this played a part in Javaris Crittenden now being a free man. But man, go ahead.
For me, and I'm on the fence about this, right? Because he did a crime, so of course he has to do the time. But on the other end of it for me is, it's not many times when people who look like us stick up, get into a position where they can stick up for us and stand up for us.
I agree.
And I wish it could have been on a different circumstance, on a different case. But just to see, again, somebody like us get to that position where they have that power to put that in, in his deal or whatever it is, you know what I'm saying? And him, live by them guidelines and do it and get out. Dog, to me, and again, maybe it's just me trying to take the positive out of something, but that's why I was on the fence about it. Like, I still believe that he should have did a crime. I also feel like if he rehabilitated, then we can have this discussion. And it seems like from him being out that he's on the right path. You know what I'm saying? He's back on his original path.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? So maybe the rehabilitation in that time and that 10 years helped. It don't seem like he seems as dark anymore. It don't seem like he's battling some of those demons he was battling, fresh out the league, and all that. So, maybe it helped him. Maybe him sitting down for 10 years, it helped him. Like, when I was watching the documentary, that's in my head, that's the mind. That's what I kept saying. Like, he just need to sit the fuck down. He just need, and I didn't mean jail at that time, but he just need to sit the fuck down and chill and get his mind right. But he just kept, instead of dealing with each problem, he'll run from it and go on to something else and go do something else. Like you said, he went from, instead of staying in China and making that money and being a baller over there, he wanted to come back and come to the Come back to the hood. I'm not mad at that. When you from the hood, you comfortable here. You know what I'm saying. You feel like I'm good here.
Right.
Cool, but you can't dangle paws meat in front of a lion and expect not to get the lion riled up. And that's what you was doing. You have all this money and you have a bunch of hungry, starving hood niggas here. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times that don't go well. Um, but and then he ran to Baltimore, and the same thing happened. So my favorite saying that I've learned over time is everywhere you go, you take you with you. You can't run from problem to problem. You taking you with you everywhere you go, and everywhere you go show up.
Right.
And so that's why. And I'm not saying he was a bad person, but it's the demons he was having, he wasn't dealing with. He was taking them everywhere they went, and so wherever he went, them demons was there. Is in the body of different people. You know what I'm saying? So I wish he would have. When I'm saying he need to sit the fuck down, is just sit the fuck down and just chill and deal with that. But I think him going to jail allowed him that time to just sit down, deal with whatever he had to deal with, take accountability for whatever role he played and how his life went this way. And then that's when the change started to happen. And I'm saying that, and so that's what I said, like, if the rehabilitation is happening and he's back into society and he's, it seems like he's a positive influence in society now. I'm not mad at him being out because you can see that the rehabilitation changed. But I'm also kind of mad because somebody lost their life. The family is grieving. You know what I'm saying? Like that mom didn't get a chance to see her kids grow. Her mom didn't see. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't ever want to bury your kid as a parent. You know what I'm saying? So uh, that's a part I'm on the side. I'm on the fence about. You know what I'm saying?
It's a sad situation. And I agree. Like you do the crime, do the time. Like I said, sometimes who you know helps. And him being boys with Dwight Howard helps. And Dwight Howard's uncle being the DA, who was the one who prosecuted him, whose office prosecuted him, and then obviously clearly made a deal pretty much probably once he got sentenced. It helped.
It did.
Now, as far as with the victim's family, I pray that one day they find peace. And I saw the mother; she's found peace, but she says I would forgiven her, but she hadn't forgotten. I don't blame her.
I don't blame her neither.
You lost your child. Their grandkids lost their mother.
Mm-hmm. My question is, if he did it 23 years, would that have? And I don't want to ask that question. Nope.
He was.
Nope. Nope. I will. I actually got off air because it was about to really be insensitive.
Okay,
so nope.
Okay, I got you.
Nope.
But and obviously you see now he's helping out. He's trying to mentor these kids who went down the same path as he did, and I like that seeing that. That he's telling these young boys, look, man, and they're not forgetting that they was in the system too. As for Gil, obviously you see the end of him working with his son, who we all know just had that serious car accident, and thank God he's getting back right, and he's going to be ready to play at USC probably this winter. But Gil's changed. Gil's going to be Gil.
Yeah, but
Gil's going to be Gil. He hasn't. He's not. Obviously, he toned it down because obviously once you become a parent, you kind of change. You have to change certain things. But Gil's going to be Gil.
Gil is matured, and it's hard to say because we see how much Gil play now.
Yeah.
But Gil has matured from a lot from how he used to be. You know what I'm saying? So it's still, I'm not mad at him enjoying life, having fun. Like he beat the odds. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not mad at him enjoying life and having fun. I think once he realized that what he did kind of affected other people's lives.
Yeah.
Is when he kind of was like, oh shit, hold on, let me chill. And I like the fact that Javari said Gil reach out to him all the time now, and they speak and they cool, and he said Gil genuinely checks on him. You know what I'm saying? I think that's dope, man.
It really is. And clearly we don't know how hopefully Javaris can maybe get it if he gets continues to make an impact on and change on other people's lives, and Gil do the same in his too. Obviously, they're both went from two different sides of the track, and they went the one, but they'll be forever connected by this one from this one incident. So once again, we'll talk about this Friday because we'll get Nick Freeze's thoughts about this. Um, but go watch Untold Shooting Guards. That's still a wild title. Um, Streaming now on Netflix. Now it's time for the final segment of the show. It's often imitated, it's never duplicated. Sometimes people say stuff in the sports world and they need to be called out for it. And ladies and gentlemen, it is time for calling out names. So let me get some calling out names music going. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, let me pause the music. I'll have this playing in a second. My first calling out names is for Jeff Teague. Jeff Teague has a podcast called Club
man.
5.
Why, man? Jeff Teague, that podcast is really good, dog.
It really is.
Okay.
But Jeff Teague
Hold up, Nasty. What we doing here, man?
Said something really, really stupid on his podcast.
From 1 through 10, 9 is the worst one? Because we just said 7 was
no,
it.
7 is.
12 is the worst. 12 10, don't start that shit. 12 is the worst, Jordan. 12 is the worst, Jordan.
Stop.
What are we on, y'all? I'm just saying the 12s are so ass. You disrespectful. The flu games are piff. The taxis are crazy. The white wrist is crazy.
He know. Shout out to the Mellows. They on the way out. Too.
They are. That's going to look so mid. Oh, it's nasty. The mellow 12s.
I can't wait.
Look at that, bro. That just looks like.
Fire lineup.
The black and white is terrible.
Can't no other
the
playoff
12? Playoff 12 is horrible. You tripping, bro. Horrible shoot. Now, the Obsidian can kiss my ass. Obsidian. That's the only one that's wrong. Obsidian 12? Oh, nasty.
He tweaked.
That's nasty.
Jordan flipped the swag on niggas with the 12, bro.
That's how I know it's weak. That's what Jordan knew. Like, these niggas just love me. They buying whatever. Bro, them taxis is pissed. Like, bro, we just gave you the taxis.
A fresh pair? A 12?
Y'all niggas is, y'all searching, bro.
Shit.
That's just because we like Mike. If that
no,
shit said,
you always say that.
If that shit said Scottie Pippen, them would have set on the, they would have Bro, if that was Gary Payton, bro, I was locked in, bro.
Jeff Teague. Jeff Teague. Jeff Teague. I'm going to say it's this. You saying this is the worst shoot out of the Jordan collection? He said, first of all, he said the shoe. Then he gonna call this model in particular, say this is horrible. But you gonna call the Obsidians good. And I thought I was the only person who was biased to blue. Good God, Jeff. I don't even like them joints. But you gonna say the playoff 12s is trash. Mark, you want to follow up on this garbage?
Nah, listen, man. I mean, we all have our, because I originally said 1 through 10s. Like, I feel like after 14, there was a bunch of crazy men that went crazy.
Yeah, I agree here.
But if we go with the original ones, I think the 8s might be the worst ones.
Yeah.
And those are dope. I think they might be the worst ones. It's definitely not the 12. Them 12s are hard.
Come on.
Them flu games, them hangover games is crap. Speaking of conspiracy, never mind.
Speaking of conspiracy, and I'm doing
y'all still calling it the flu game, huh?
Well, it was the pizza game now. The pizza game. According to the last dance, it was supposed to be pizza game.
Food poison, right?
Yes.
Yeah, y'all niggas crazy.
All right, but speaking of conspiracy, the next person I'm calling out,
Magic for faking HIV.
No.
Oh.
Major League Baseball.
Oh, was that story I just seen today?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hell no.
Yes. We're going there. We're going there. I'm gonna cut the beat in a second, but we're going there. You better believe you better believe they're going there. This news today broke around 1:00 today our time. Pete Rose, Charlie Hustle, the hit king, all-time leader in hits. Been banned for baseball for many he gambled as a manager.
One of the best hitters that ever played the game.
Obviously, RP Tony Gwynn, greatest hitter ever. But next, probably after that, it's probably Pete Rose.
Facts. And Ichiro.
Who's one in the Hall of Fame this year. Who's one in the Hall of Fame this summer with CC Sabathia?
Never mind.
We're going to get there. We're going to get there.
I hate baseball.
We're going to get there. We're going to get there. Let me get there. Let me get him. Let me get him. Today it was announced that Pete Rose and Shoeless Joe Jackson have been reinstated into Major League Baseball. Here's the thing. Pete Rose died last year. Shoeless Joe Jackson been dead since 1950. And now y'all want to reinstate them in baseball, knowing these dudes should have been in the Hall of Fame a long damn time ago. And by the way, James Forbes Clark, the chairperson of the Baseball Hall of Fame, did announce that Pete Rose is eligible for Hall of Fame induction right now. Let me get this straight. Bart Giamatti bans Pete Rose from baseball from gambling. Bud Seenley could have reinstated Pete Rose. Rob Maverick, you could reinstate Pete Rose. No, y'all want to make sure this happened when this man died. Y'all wanted to make sure this man died because he did not want to see him walk across that stage in Cooperstown.
That's crazy.
And get that plaque.
That's crazy.
Join the rest of his teammates with the big red machine and finally get the overdue praise he deserves.
That's crazy. They got people in the baseball fame that kill some people.
But y'all can cool with murderers being in the Hall of Fame.
Crackheads.
Drug dealers. Everybody. But y'all don't want to put arguably some of the greatest players, because one gambled, one possibly used steroids. Come on, man. It's stupid. First of all, I'm going to say congratulations to Pete Rose's family, because obviously they're the ones who's going to benefit from this. But Pete Rose, and he should go in the Hall of Fame. I don't care if you don't like it or not. Pete Rose should go in the Hall of Fame next year, and it shouldn't even be a discussion.
My only question is, when he bet as a gambler, did his parlay hit? Because I needed to ask him some questions in Vegas.
I should have, man. We should have, man. Because I actually ran into Pete Rose one time in Vegas. He was doing an autograph signing at Caesars. I should have went and got some gambling tips from him. But no, that's all that was. Because they was afraid that Pete Rose was going to make an embarrassment of baseball, talk a bunch of crap at his Hall of Fame speech, and basically make a mockery of the game. But no, y'all make a mockery of the game. Pete Rose, Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens, Alex Rodriguez.
Not having a GOAT in your Hall of Fame is crazy. Imagine a basketball having a Hall of Fame, and whoever you feel the GOAT is. It can be Jordan, it can be Kobe, it can be LeBron, it can be Kareem, whoever you feel is the GOAT. Imagine them not being in the Hall of Fame.
Football. Whether you think it's Jim Brown, Walter Payton, Tom Brady,
Lawrence Taylor,
Joe Montana, Deion.
Just imagine not having the greatest of whoever represented your sport not in the Hall of Fame.
You think boxing gonna have a Hall of Fame without Muhammad Ali and Mike Tyson, or Joe Frazier, or Floyd?
This is crazy.
Soccer not gonna have a Hall of Fame without Ronaldo or Messi or David Beckham
or Pele. Hey, that movie Bender Like Beckham, was that a point?
Hey, yo! He was one of Spice. He was married to a Spice Girl. But I'm just saying, bro. Yo, you in?
All right, we out here.
All right, that was my call out name. That's just insane. That's just insane to me. But it doesn't shock me because I kind of figured me and Mark and they talked about this, that the moment Pete Rose died, they're going to reinstate him and he's going to go in the Hall of Fame. And I guarantee they're going to do that commissioner
this year.
When they put his name on the ballot for 2026. He's going to get a lot. There's going to be a lot of push to get him in the Hall of Fame.
I have personal call no names. I just showed you, John, while we were doing the show.
Yeah.
Max Strus.
Oh my God. Maxwell.
He told dude, he texted somebody on his team and said, if y'all don't want to play, you might as well not show up. That's a quite inspirational text to send somebody if you go out there and ball. Anybody know what he did today? John, just take a guess.
He didn't score.
0 for 9. You could have stayed home today, sir. Actually, you could have just went to Miami. Back to Miami.
Well, he's going there now. Because they're on vacation. Skip can't. No, don't go to Cancun with that type of. Mm-hmm. Don't bring that energy to Cancun. Take it up to South Beach.
Mm-hmm. No, don't go to South Beach.
No, South Beach. That's a good point. Yeah, that was crazy.
That's it for me, though.
Then that's it for me too. And ladies and gentlemen, that's calling our names.
Stephen A. Smith too.
Yeah. But yeah, that was just But that Pete Rose thing that really bothers me. Like. Pete Rose is going in the hall. Is going to go in the Hall of Fame now.
He said that Pete Rose thing bothers me.
Yo, you good?
Sorry, my bad. Sorry.
We don't get up out of here. Yeah, Sam says he should have been in 30 years ago. Sealy was smart enough to reinstate him. Of course, Buzz Sealy wasn't going to do it. He was a former owner. People don't know that. Speaking of that, Buzz Sealy was also one of the owners of the Milwaukee Brewers, so he wasn't going to let him in. They wanted to keep Bart Giamotti's rule and stay until the day he died, and that's exactly what they did. By the way, it's crazy because Bart Giamatti died before Pete Rose. And those know. By the way, you know who his son is.
Who?
Bart Giamatti, the former commissioner in MLB.
No, who?
Paul Giamatti, the actor. Billions. The dude played Jerry Heller in Straight Outta Compton.
Oh,
that's his dad.
Oh, shit.
Come on, man. That makes no sense. But
Billions is a good show.
Yeah, so we'll talk more about that. Go get Nick's thoughts on that on Friday.
So, and I want to say before we get out of here, John, my bad. I want to send a shout out to what Netflix is doing with Untold.
That's right.
They're doing some great documentaries with that. They did The Malice in the Palace.
Uh-huh.
So if y'all haven't seen it, please go check that out. That's great. They did a great job with that. And now they did the shooting guard.
Pick a better title.
No, shooting guard is hard. That was dope. That was dope.
That was dope. It was a crazy title, but I rock with it though.
That was dope, especially neither one of them play shooting guard. That's the crazy part.
That's right. They were over point guards.
That's the crazy. Never mind. And then they doing another one. It's called
point range. My bad.
John always taking one step too far. One step too far. And I have another one about the bodybuilder dude who was on the raw meat diet.
Yeah, that just dropped.
Yeah,
I saw it.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch that. I don't know about them. I'm gonna watch it. Like they've been doing a good job with Untold. So man, keep that up. Pause. Wow.
Hey, yo.
Holy shit.
But then another thing, y'all did get one wrong though. I still think y'all screwed up on the whole Florida one. About the documentary about those Urban Meyer Gators teams. It should not have been a pretty much a sympathy piece for Urban Meyer. Come on, man. We and I knew we weren't gonna hear nothing from Aaron Hernandez's family. Obviously, you weren't gonna hear from the Pound Seas.
I thought you were about to say you wasn't hearing from Aaron Hernandez. I was about to say, John, you
are okay.
Out of pocket.
No, we weren't gonna hear from his family. We weren't gonna hear from. We knew what was going on in Florida. Come on, man. But we'll talk more about that on Friday. So let me give you what we got going on for the rest of the week. Obviously, check out our girls, Nessa, Angel Rose, Humber Roses, 430 Culture Clash Network.
What up with it, y'all?
Check out Sports4U Wrestling tomorrow. Me, Trail. Nick Free's going to be on Sports4U Wrestling with Nessa tomorrow. Check out No Rules tomorrow night with Mark and Ill Will, 7:30 on Instagram Live.
Heard No Rules Podcast on Instagram. Go follow it right now.
Check out boys JT and Cash with Marks and Mikes on Thursdays. And then we'll be back on Fridays.
Yes.
So we're going to talk NFL schedule release.
Right.
We're going to talk Mexicans NBA playoffs.
The Mexicans in the NBA playoffs?
We're going to talk the rest of these NBA playoffs.
I say, damn.
By the way, NFL they got to get a game back in Mexico. Obviously, they haven't been back because they're still remodeling the stadium.
Yeah.
They got to get a game back in Azteca Stadium. Yeah. We'll talk about NFL schedule release. Mm-hmm. We'll talk NBA. Mm-hmm. We'll We'll get Nick's thoughts on shooting guards, and we'll get Nick's thoughts on the reinstatement of Pete Rose. So those are what we will talk about. Make sure you hit that subscribe button for Sports4U Podcast on YouTube. Follow us on X, Instagram, and TikTok at Sports4U Podcast.
Peter on the Rose is crazy.
Yo, you good? Follow me and John Watson 0984 X Instagram. This dude is wild.
I said that out loud.
Yo, you good?
Wow.
Hi, I'm Mark. Hi, Mark one on X.
Do not follow me.
99 Gorilla on X, Instagram, and TikTok for Nick. And we'll see y'all on Friday. Enjoy the rest of your night. Right now, it's tied up at 92 between the Thunder and the Nuggets. Game 5. Remember, whoever wins the series usually wins Game 5 when the series is 3. It's tied at 2. Goes on to win 81% of the time. This has been another great episode of Sports4U. I'm John. That's Mark.
Yeah.
Nick, we'll see you on Friday, bro. We out.